Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. Early morning in a rather chilly Lincolnshire this morning. It's just gone 8 o'clock and I'm at Dad's house with the rusty French barge. It's Dad's Peugeot 406 estate. It's the 2-litre petrol, by the way, so quite a rare model. 5 days ago, Dad, backing out his drive on the way to the gym, got about 10 metres down the road and boing, the spring decided to not be a spring anymore. In fact, it actually went boing that way through the drop link and the braking system. Age, basically, and it was quite a cold morning, had sort of crept in and as Dad showed us in the previous video, the spring had corroded. 15 years old, so, well, it was maybe to be expected, and I suppose one of the only saving graces is that it went 10 metres from the drive and not 70 miles an hour on the M1. In this video then, some parts have arrived. We're going to take a look at those parts. They've cost £70 from eBay. We'll have a chat with Dad, have a look at what he's been doing in the past 5 days to get ready, and we'll put it all back together. Good morning, how are you?
All right, mate.
It's
thanks.
very early this morning and it's actually quite cold in the workshop. 5 days ago, you had Problematicos Technicale in that the spring decided to lower itself on the Peugeot 406. You've ordered some parts. Have they all arrived now?
Yep, all here, mate.
Where are they? What we got? Oh, there's been some work going on here.
Brake hose.
So brake hose, springs.
Yeah. Roll bar links.
Yeah.
Bearing for the other side because I know it was a bit gammy.
Yeah. And you've just been doing some work. Okay, so the parts are all here. The plan is to put it all back together. Yeah. I can see there's some sort of, well, I'm going to call it a contraption.
That's what I call it, my contraption.
Just talk us through that, because that doesn't look like a genuine official spring compression tool.
What a contraption this is.
You've made that?
Yes.
Talk us through it.
I made it for doing them ones that's got the 2 bolt holes that fasten it to the hub. And it fits there, but you just bolt it. I've uprated it for the Peugeot. I've uprated the threaded bar, because it did have 10mm threaded bar in it, and I've put 12 in.
So basically, it's a piece of angle iron at the bottom that you can fix your suspension arm to, or your suspension mounting. There's threaded bar that comes all the way through here.
Yeah, these are the important bits, that stops it tipping over.
Yeah, okay. So there's more angle iron at the top, and then I'm guessing you just compress it equally.
Yeah.
How do you just compress it with
a couple of spanners?
Spanners, yeah.
A couple of spanners.
And away you go. So the new spring actually you've fitted.
I have, yes.
To there.
If I wasn't waiting for the production crew, it'd have been done yesterday afternoon, but I've been waiting for the production team.
How easy was it to put that spring back on there with your contraption?
It's tricky because this is a strong old spring.
What's the genuine way of doing this?
Proper blooming tool, either a handheld tool that you put in the vise and screw it together, or an hydraulic thing. And normally most garages now have an hydraulic thing that pushes it down and it's got a cage around it. But you can see how much compression there is on that spring.
Is that safe?
It is for a man in a shed. If I was employing somebody, I don't think health and safety would allow me to let them use it.
Fair enough. So DIY, it's good enough, but yeah, don't try this at home maybe if you're paying people to do it. The last thing you want is for one of them to go wrong and then you get your hand stuck in it.
It's better, it's not that, it's the blooming thing taking your head off. It's better than these things.
What's that there? Is that a
you
proper
put these
spring
on your
compression?
spring and screw them up, but you finish up, they finish up going twang.
Sliding around, yeah, I understand. Okay, so the spring is on there, that looks good.
But can you see how much compression it's got on it?
I can, yeah, and I can also see that the finish is different. Have you treated the new one? Have you wax oiled it?
Wax oiled them when I put it together, yeah.
Okay, is that my Tetrasil you've used? I see how it is. Okay, so that's looking a bit better. That's ready to be fitted to the car. So what's the first plan of action then? What do we do this morning? How are we going to get on? What's the plan?
We're going to put that on there. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, let's do that. So if you want to build one of these yourself...
No, don't.
Don't do it, Dad says. But actually it's got a little clamp here, which I didn't realise, to hold the bottom of the suspension system in place. And it's on that threaded bar. It's good, I like that. But don't do it at home. Have you seen that Hubnut has started his smart car this
Yes,
week by bump starting it?
I did. I was interested to see that, to be really
I
honest.
didn't realise you could do that. I wonder if you could do that on the NHD version. Probably not. Right, so the copper grease is out, which means that stuff is going back together.
Little mark there, looks, you know where to put it. Can you see that little...
Yeah, I can. There's like a whale mark.
A little lump, that's the best way to describe it. See that there? That's just spreading that a bit.
Yep. So it's got an alignment mark, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How long do you think this job will take you? From start to
How
finish?
long's a piece of string? It's as long as your brake pipe.
So you have got the other side to do.
Yes, mate.
I'm guessing you're not doing that today as well.
I've got stuff to do.
That'll be a job to do at a later date.
When I'm not choosing curtains and carpets and... Got all the papering done though.
Oh, your wallpapering's done now, is it?
Yeah.
Are you happy with it?
I'm over the moon. No, it's come out all right.
So that literally just tightens in there with a nut and a bolt, does it? And it sits in there.
Special shaped nut, look, mate. Can you see it squares up on there?
Oh yeah. So that's in. Next. Oh, this is where the magic happens.
The magic.
There's the
Mellow magic.
top of the mount. Have you replaced the bearing in there?
No, because I
have you
did it
replaced?
fairly recently, didn't I?
Oh, what have you replaced there then? Nothing. Spring.
Just spring, son, yeah.
Okay.
See, this bearing doesn't turn easily because there's no... Once the weight's on it, the bearing's all right. Just getting it in about the right place. Right.
So it has a locating peg there, doesn't it?
It does.
So you can't get it in the wrong way.
This is a two-man job.
I was going to say, I'm guessing you need me to... Keep it there. Where's the others? Aha! Here they are. Last thing you want to do is cross-thread those.
Cheers. No, I should be a disappointed Hector.
So they are finger tight in there, so that's holding it in place. And now you've got to align the drive system up with the hub, right?
Drive shaft.
Drive shaft. It doesn't have a locating.
No, it's just got splines, Mil.
Yeah.
It's just got splines. Put a protector on for the ball joint, look. So I didn't damage the ball joint while I was knocking it about.
Where did you buy that from? Or did it come with it?
Came with the old new ball joint.
Top tip,
I got it in my useful box.
don't damage your ball joints. Put the protector on it. That's the ball joint in place. Ah, the long bridge hammer came out.
I don't think you'll call that it. So early in the morning, we're being quiet. If all that turns, there's like an Allen key in the end of this, so you can hold it if you need to hold the middle bit.
That's on the ball joint mounting, is it?
Yeah. So if all of it's turning, there's an Allen key or a Torx bit in the end of there, so you can put a spanner on it and hold it.
That's clever.
But it's not all turning. If you go crazed, you can split these by tightening them up too much.
Is there a torque wrench setting or?
There is, mate, yeah. There is, son. Click, click, click. Torque wrench clicked. Right, my old matey load.
Just going back there, I'm guessing you've tightened that via experience, right?
Yeah.
You know, 40 years in the motor trade has taught you how tight that needs to be. If somebody wanted to find out the torque wrench settings, Haynes manual?
Get your Haynes manual out.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, let's face it, in these day and age,
Internet.
interwebs.
What's that you're fiddling with there now?
And I tied this ABS wire up so it wasn't dangling around and causing me a lot of grief.
I didn't realise it'd got an ABS braking system.
Better find some bits now.
So what's that piece you've just clicked into there?
Put the track rod end on.
Track rod end is in. That's on. Oh, what's that contraption?
This is, I don't remember how this goes now.
Ah, so it's like a bracket.
It is. Engine bracket. For the brake hose and all them wires and stuff.
That just hold things out the way, does it?
I'll have to reshape that because you can see it's got damage when it was
Yeah.
an incident.
People are commenting on your description of this being a minor inconvenience.
All right.
I think people like your optimism.
Could be a lot worse, my old mate.
It could have taken a lot worse out. It could have taken the tyre out, it could have damaged all your wheel. And you could have been doing 70 miles an hour on the M1.
Yep. Because it does happen, but usually springs brake at slow speed for some bizarre reason. Or when you first pull out the drive, or actually while it's parked.
So you're going to reshape that bracket when it's in situ?
I am, mate, yeah. Like that.
Let me go grab that.
Yeah, I'm just going to... Can you see it?
I've got it.
Yeah.
It's in my hands. It doesn't want to come too much more, actually.
Good.
And I'm guessing it goes into this clip, right?
Not yet, no.
No.
Not until I've got it fastened on.
But I've put them to one side, so that piece goes into... And that's the ABS system. Ah, and there's a grommet you've put in place now.
I have, yeah. I snicked that in when I was...
Snicked!
Just got them out of the way.
Love that. So let me just have a look at that. So it's gone through that bracket, up into there, held in place, through there, up there, and through into the engine bay. Comes through a hole here, grommets in place, and connects here. ABS system. You made that look easy.
So that's tight.
So that's tight. Now we can get that wire in. And where does that live?
A little bracket just there, look, mate. I'm not sure whether that bracket wants to go in. There you go. It's in.
So that's on there. Not on the bracket. So everything at the top here is now done.
Yep.
Now to make sure that's tight.
Bottom ball joint's tight.
So you're just making sure everything's tight before we start the next bit.
Trot end's tight. That's it. We're at the point now where everything is tight.
Good.
Somebody had bought some, what's the word for it? Redundant stock from somewhere, I think.
That's your brake pipe, is it?
Yeah. Looks like somebody had bought, what's the word for it?
You bought a closing down sale.
Yeah, something like that. Had a bit of look of it.
Not bad for £9 though.
That's why it was £9, isn't it?
Let's have a look. What brand is it? Doesn't really say, does it?
Delphi.
Oh, Delphi. Hey, Delphi brake pipe for £9. Right, so now to do the braking system.
Let's just rattle that on for a start.
Hubnut.
That's the hubnut, mate, yep. 35mm. That is. 35mm. I'm just going to whiz it up with this just for now, because when the brakes are all together, we'll tighten it up properly. So that's just assembled.
So we need to do that properly when it's all done, eh?
Yeah, that's why I put the clip and that on.
Yep.
I shall know to do it.
Brake disc on. That looks good condition. Have you got a new one there, or is that the old one? Have you replaced it recently?
They've been replaced fairly recently, mate.
The sun's starting to come out.
It is nice here.
It was bitterly cold half an hour ago.
Now then, there's some keys in here to pull her into lock.
Right, so caliper carrier, or pad carrier going back on.
I don't think that's the end of the world.
What's the silver metallic greasy sort of stuff you've got?
That there,
Is it brake spray?
it's tune-up brake spray, isn't it?
And what's the purpose of that?
It stops it all corroding there.
Excellent.
Typical Peugeot and French peoples like these Torx things, don't they?
Well, that's how a smart car's built.
What's wrong with linking nuts and bolts? When we take that hose off, all the brake fluid will bugger off.
Yep.
So what we're going to do, with a bit of luck,
Is suck all the brake fluid out.
no. We need some plastic.
Milk bottle.
Eh?
Milk bottle. No.
This sort of thing.
I'm trying to preempt what you're doing.
You know when you're central heating, when you've got these closed circuits, you can take your rad valves off once all the pressure's gone,
Yeah.
because there's no air getting in.
So it was a vacuum.
So hopefully, and it might not work, that will stop the air getting in.
So this could be a top tip, or it could be a top tip that hasn't worked in practice.
And then I can take that hose off without.
So all
it-
you've done is put that over
yeah.
the cap and then put the cap back on. I bet there's some sort of actual specialist tool you can attach to that, like a vacuum system.
I don't remember what the car was, but somewhere in British Leyland times, we changed hundreds of these
Oh, right, okay.
because they was faulty.
Metro?
I can't remember and I've no idea. But that's how the factory told us to stop the fluid from clearing off.
Comment down below if you know the answer. British Leyland car, lots of issues with brake pipes.
I reckon it was the Marina or something like
The brake
that.
pipes, brake hose.
Brake hoses, yeah. Is it going to come undone?
It's attached in there with a...
Will we
nut.
have to make a new brake pipe?
Oh, let's hope not. Le engine.
Sorry?
Le engine. Le 2 litre petrol.
Oh, right, sorry. You're filling time, was you?
Just talking nonsense whilst I'm waiting for you. Hang on a minute, the heat gun's out. What's happening? Has it come now?
Yeah, it needed a bit of...
Heat. How hot did you get that?
not that hot, really, the heat gun, will it? Hadn't done the nut a lot of good, but
Fingers crossed it's off.
it'll be all right.
I didn't expect that to cause us an issue.
No, because I'd cleaned it off and soaked it.
That's the nut on the brake pipe to the hose, right?
It's the union, mate, yeah.
Well, fingers
It's
crossed.
not corroded, it was just, well, it must have been
Stuck.
corroded.
Right, the old one's off. Let's have a look at it. There it is. It doesn't look damaged. Why are you replacing it?
Because I don't know whether it's damaged or not, son.
Did it stretch when the spring broke?
It certainly did.
Okay, fair enough. So the new brake pipe is going on. And actually, has your contraption worked? Is there brake fluid everywhere? There's not, is there?
No, I've just capped it off, actually.
Oh.
But let's have a look. I'll just take this bit of pipe off with the union on. See if it's leaking.
Oh, that's done the trick.
It did.
Let's have a look. Get in there.
It is dripping still. though.
It is, yeah, but only slightly.
If I was going to be messing about with it for a long while,
You'd cap it off.
certainly would, son.
But that has saved it from pouring out of there,
It
hasn't it?
has.
I'm impressed. I've learnt something. Right, so that's fitted. It's on there. Ah, your brake hose, your brake pipe spanner has come out again for another outing. Right, let me have a look at that.
It's not how I want it.
Oh,
that
how...
spring is not holding it securely.
Ah.
Which is not good enough for me.
Cable tie?
No. Because that has got bent. There's all the kerfuffle. I knew it had got bent before. There we go. That's better, Gromit. It's getting there. With the incident.
The incident.
We'll know it as the incident from now on. Tell you what, I've had an incident today. I've left my woolly hat at the gymnasium.
You've what, sorry?
I left my woolly hat in the locker at the gymnasium.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Have you been and got it then?
No, I'm not going to drive back to the blooming gymnasium for a woolly hat.
So
I
have
shall
they...
ask and see if anybody's if it's there in the morning.
You've lost that.
No, I don't think there's a group of international woolly hat collectors about, is there?
Well, it's been a cold morning.
International woolly hat.
What you're saying is you might need to buy a new hat.
New woolly hat.
I might buy you a new hat that says Absolute Legend on it.
I think that would be a bad idea.
Comment down below if you'd like merch, by the way. Woolly hats, Absolute Legend. Let me know in the comments.
Absolute nuisance.
You can have Absolute Legend and I can have Absolute Nuisance on my hat whilst you're doing that.
I wouldn't say that, son. I wouldn't say my son is a nuisance.
Just his fleet of cars.
I would suggest that there's better other adjectives than that.
Pop.
It's not going to pop.
It's in.
It is, isn't it?
'Tis in.
Right, my old matey load.
What's next?
Caliper. Let's find the caliper. Where's the caliper, Gromit?
In go the brake pads. Are you fitting new brake pads?
No.
Has it had new brake pads recently?
Yes. I wouldn't say recently, but in the mileage-wise, yeah.
What you're saying is they don't need doing.
You can see they don't need doing,
No,
John.
there's a lot of meat on them.
You can see they jolly well don't need doing.
For a car that was made in 1998, it's got quite a few technical advances on.
Oh, you know about the French, matey, they know everything. It's not new stuff, mate. Pad warning's been around for years. Years and years.
I suppose some of the early Citroens probably had it on.
But it's just been around for years. I'm just, I can't put my finger on how long, but...
That's a question. What is the earliest car to have a pad warning system, electronic-wise? There you are. We'll have to find that out.
Oh, some people will be going,
Who cares? Yeah. People will care. I want to know.
who flipping cares?
That's a question for Pistons, the podcast this
Who
week.
cares?
By the way, if you haven't seen Pistons, the podcast this week,
Who flipping cares?
there is a playlist on the channel.
Who flipping cares, Gromit?
Right, caliper's back on. Brake hose is attached. It's gone on all right, the new one.
Yes, son.
Excellent news. Shiny and new. Hey, there's the trusty milk bottle for bleeding the brakes. I'm guessing you need me to help you.
Certainly do, me old mate.
Don't tell me that bleed nipple's ceased.
I'm not panicking yet, Gromit, but it's not very good.
Hooray!
Shall we
It needed some persuasion.
have a clean up of that? We'll have a clean up of that, me old mate, first.
Preventative maintenance. Wire brush on there, get rid of some of that corrosion. Time to bleed the brakes. You need 2 people for this.
Let's put a bit of brake fluid in, dude. Where's my brake fluid?
Make sure your reservoir isn't empty when you do this, else you'll end up adding air into the system. And you don't want to do that. Top up your brake fluid. Are you expecting this to expel any air at all?
Yeah, a lot of air.
A lot of air?
Yeah. A lot.
Here's the fun bit then.
Off you go, mate. Hold her down, please.
Down to the ground. Any air come out?
Yes, mate.
Oh, good.
I'll just start her up and stomp your foot on the brake for a start, please.
Make sure it's out of gear. Start her up. Foot's on the brake pedal.
Off. On. Pedal all right.
Feels good. Any leaks?
Hold her on. You're letting it on and off. Keep it on.
It's on. Looks
Switch
good.
off. Hold, mate. Give me right.
So you're checking for leaks there. Any leaks?
No, son.
Good stuff. That's
No leaks.
That's the brakes bled.
There's no brassicas of any kind.
Job done.
Not quite. Not quite.
What are you putting on there now?
Where's where it got all manked about when all the bits
Flew off.
Yeah.
So you're just adding some wax oil
Yeah, just touching it up a bit.
on there, making sure it's protected. Good idea.
It's not so much that, but it did scrawk everything up.
You realised you forgot to put a piece of trim on. What was that trim?
It's that protector look for the brake pipe.
So that's
But
now
not
on.
for the brake pipe, getting me as stupid as you. The track would end.
You've now fitted it.
Yes, mate.
Time to fit the new anti-roll bar link. In fact, you've actually, well, put it in place. I can't see it. Where's it gone? It's under here somewhere. Da-da-da. There it is. There it goes. Because it bent the other one when it went wang. £13 a pair, those.
Yeah, it's not worth looking about, is it?
Not worth messing about with, no.
It really wants, son.
New anti-roll bar links in place. Now I can see it. There it is. Make sure you tighten them anti-roll bar links up because they make a funny noise. What noise do they do? There you go. So if you've got that noise on your car, check your anti-roll bar links.
Renaults used to do it regularly.
Sounds like a French ambulance.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What was that noise?
Do it again. And again. It's your brake pipe thing, I think. I think it's this twanging somehow. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it and you can do it. You can have a look.
Yeah.
Time to talk the hubnut. Not Ian, but the actual hubnut on the front here. 325 Newton meters, according to the manual. That's blooming tight, if I'm honest with you. That's a lot of torque.
Stick your foot on the brake, please. Son.
Will do.
Hold the steering wheel as well. Thank you.
Good. Oh, it's just starting to spot about at the end of the project. Pins going in through the hubnut.
Right, so what we're going to do is just check for that noise.
Oh yeah, there's a noise at full lock. It could be that it's because it hasn't got weight on it. Are you worried about that noise?
I've got bigger things to worry about than that, damn it. Right. I'm going to put my tools in the shed first. Just going to put a jack under that bottom ball joint, put the weight on it, and see if that noise is gone.
Fingers crossed. Let's try again. No noise.
There's no weight on the bearing at the top.
So that was causing a knocking.
It's just the spring top winding up a little bit because there's no weight on the roller bearing.
Well, at least we don't have to take it all apart again.
I want anticipating having to do. Right.
I'll let the jack out. Good, I'll take the jack away.
Yeah, don't take it right down because I need to put it under the car.
On goes the wheel. Dad's just double checking the tightness of everything, making sure everything's tightened up, making sure everything's back together.
Haven't missed anything. Straightening them brackets up, it's all bent.
And then we're putting the wheel on.
Looking good.
It's just started raining.
Oh, I got a socket. Oh, I have. Could be worse.
We could be just starting the job.
Yeah. At least we started early. Good old Peugeot.
Get it on the deck. Torques the wheel nuts up. Job is the good one.
Don't worry about them bits of wood, I'll deal with them in a second.
It's on the deck. Well, that looks a bit better. I'm guessing that spring will settle down in a day or two.
If you think about it, it looks as high up anyway. Don't matter, does it? Come and do the other side.
Well, that works. That seems to have done the trick.
Just wanted to fire the old ABS, that's all I wanted to do.
Did it work?
Aye.
Excellent. Well, yeah, it is clearly
Lift up.
a lot lower on that side. But don't get me wrong, you're about to do the other side, aren't you? So
Not today, I'm not. Not with this rain. 26 3/4.
Huh?
Quarter of an inch.
Well, that's not too bad, is it?
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
It looks a lot higher than
It
that.
does. That'll do me, Gromit. I've now got a van again.
Well, there you have it then. An hour and a half of our morning this morning. It is just starting to rain. Thankfully, we're not doing it in the rain. Putting the strut back together, an extra half an hour in the workshop. So a couple of hours job. For Dad, a seasoned professional mechanic of over 45 years, clearly something that's his bread and butter. You, as a DIYer, it's maybe half a day's job. £70 that cost us, all in all, and actually we got a spring for this side and some more parts for the near side as well. But it's kept the old French barge on the road, and as Dad said, he's now got his van back. A mild inconvenience, but for 70 quid, it's kept the old girl on the road. It is something that probably would have potentially written off a car of this ilk if someone had to pay a specialist to do it. Thankfully, Dad can do it himself. If you've enjoyed this video, thumbs up please. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. There's so much more content coming, including Pistons, the podcast, the weekly episode coming very shortly. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Comment down below, what do you reckon? Let us know. Till next time, thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'm gonna have a cup of tea now. Oh, it's freezing. Oh. If you've enjoyed this video, I've selected a few more specially for you on this page. Click either side to select them now. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button to always stay up to date with the channel.